Hello, ladies and gentlemen. James here. I hope you're doing well. And this video, I'm going to dedicate this to black people. And this is for them because what's been going on lately. It's not other people can chime in, but it's going to result to anybody, but particularly black people. How to escape racism. Let's see.
In Africa. There is a look many black Americans recognize the moment they arrive in Africa. It shows up quietly at first, relaxed shoulders, deeper breaths, unguarded smiles. Then it settles fully into the face. Relief. For many, it's the first time in decades they are not bracing themselves. Life under constant pressure. In the United States, black Americans often carry an invisible weight every day. The pressure to perform twice as well, the constant awareness of race in public spaces, the stress of rising costs, shrinking retirement savings, medical expenses, and the fear of outliving financial security. Even success can feel exhausting, because it often comes with isolation, scrutiny, and the unspoken question, do I belong here? That pressure becomes a way of life. Many don't realize how heavy it is until it's gone. What changes in Africa for many black Americans visiting or relocating to Africa, especially countries like Kenya, something profound happens. They blend in. They are no longer a minority, no longer hypervisible, no longer carrying the emotional labor of representing an entire race. They are simply people. Shopkeepers greet them warmly. Neighbors strike up conversations without suspicion. Elders call them son or daughter. Children smile freely. There is no need to code switch, explain oneself, or shrink. The nervous system relaxes. Financial breathing room restores dignity. Beyond social relief, there is financial freedom. In Africa, many black Americans discover they can live comfortably on a fixed income, rent quality housing at a fraction of U.S. costs, afford fresh food, help around the home, transportation, and health care. Stop choosing between medication, rent, and peace of mind. This financial breathing room doesn't just change budgets, it restores dignity. People walk taller when they are no longer constantly worried about survival. The look everyone notices. It's in the photos, it's in the laughter, it's in the way people sit back instead of leaning forward in defense. That look, the softened eyes, the genuine smile, is what happens when racism no longer defines daily interactions. Money stress loosens its grip, community replaces isolation, life feels human again. It's not about escaping America, it's about exhaling. Not a fantasy, a real growing movement. This isn't a trend or a dream. Thousands of black Americans are already spending winters in Africa, retiring abroad, building second homes, starting small businesses, reconnecting with culture and history, finding community and purpose later in life. They are not giving up their identity, they are reclaiming it. Affordable African Horizons, guiding the journey. At Affordable African Horizons, we walk alongside black Americans who are exploring Africa, whether for a visit, a long stay, or a new chapter of life. We help you understand the visa process, find safe, affordable housing, navigate healthcare and daily life, connect with trusted local networks, make informed, realistic decisions, not romanticized ones. Africa doesn't promise a perfect life, but for many, it offers something priceless. Peace, belonging, room to breathe. And once you have that look in the mirror, you'll understand why so many never want to give it up. Affordable African Horizons. Discover, connect, belong.
Might be a good idea. Just think about that. And just for your mental health, just to get away from that just alone. And for the black Americans that do that, salute to you, that are able to make an income to go over there and make a life with people, because we've been so bombarded. Well, they're staying here, and the ones that are going to stay here and just be subjugated to this is the ones that don't want to leave. It is what it is. But the ones who left, God bless you. It's just God bless you for those ones that left, man, because you see what's going on. You see the writing on the wall. Who wants to keep this? Ain't really living, it's not living, constantly like like the guys in the video. You constantly got to worry about this and think about that. Here it is. Here's another video.
We're in such a saturated market now where there's a million brands doing the same things, but how can you stand out? Shopify's helped me be...
Retirement is supposed to feel like relief, but for many Black Americans it feels more like a countdown clock. Shrinking savings, rising rent, and healthcare bills that don't care how hard you worked. On Virtual Travel by Brian, we don't sugarcoat that reality. We investigate it. This episode, 10 countries where you can retire as a Black person without financial fear, cuts through the noise to reveal how retirement outside the United States, low cost of living countries for retirees, and smarter financial planning are quietly changing what's possible. This isn't hype or glossy Black travel fantasy. It's about retiring overseas on a budget with dignity, safety, and real numbers behind the promise. Stay locked in as this countdown exposes where Black-friendly countries are delivering freedom instead of stress, and hit like, subscribe, and comment because the smartest retirement moves are the ones people never talk about. Number 10, Belize. The Caribbean that speaks English and knows you're retired, not rich. Let's start this countdown with a country that looks like a screensaver but quietly runs like a bank ledger. Belize isn't trying to be Miami. It's trying to be livable. And for Black retirees who want Caribbean air without Caribbean confusion, Belize checks a very important box. English is the official language. No translation apps. No paperwork panic. No medical appointment that turns into charades. Now here's where it gets interesting. Belize has a formal Qualified Retirement Program, or QRP, designed specifically to attract people who have income coming in from somewhere else. Pensions, Social Security, investments. The requirement is about $2,000 a month in foreign income, which sounds big until you realize many American retirees already hit that just with Social Security, plus a small pension. In return, Belize gives you residency, tax exemptions on foreign income, and duty-free import of household goods. That's not paradise, that's policy. As Belize Tourism once bluntly put it, Belize welcomes retirees who want to enjoy a relaxed lifestyle with financial peace of mind. And yes, peace of mind is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Let's talk money. Outside the postcard islands, $1,200 to $1,800 a month can cover rent, groceries, utilities, and transport in many areas. On the islands, that jumps fast, because Paradise charges rent. Beachfront condos can cost more than suburban Texas, and groceries are pricier because a lot of food is imported. When everything arrives by boat, the price tag floats too. Healthcare is the same story. Belize offers basic public health care, but most retirees use private clinics in cities or tourist hubs. The good news? Doctor visits can cost less than your cable bill back home. The not so good news? If you need major surgery, many people hop to Mexico or the US. Belize is great for everyday health, not always for complex care. Now let's talk about the unspoken part. Being Black in Belize. Belize is majority Black and Afro-Caribbean. You don't stand out, you blend in. You're not the foreign Black person, you're just a person. One Black expat put it this way: in Belize, I stopped being a Black American and just became a neighbor. That kind of psychological relief doesn't show up on cost of living charts, but it absolutely shows up in how long people stay. So why is Belize only number 10? Because Paradise has fine print. Imports are expensive, islands drain bank accounts, and advanced healthcare is limited. Belize gives you peace, but you still need a plan. Which brings us to number 9, because the next country on this list gives you the same financial calm with fewer asterisks. Number 9, Ghana. The country that looked Black America in the eye and said, "Come home, but bring your paperwork." Ghana didn't quietly join the Black retirement conversation. It kicked the door down. When the government launched the Year of Return campaign, it wasn't just a tourism slogan. It was a global invitation to the African diaspora to reconnect, reinvest, and in some cases, permanently relocate. President Nana Akufo-Addo said it plainly: "We are not just inviting you to visit, we are inviting you to come home." For black retirees burned out by racism, inflation, and the emotional cost of being black in America, that sentence hit like a drumbeat. But Ghana isn't just running on vibes, it's running on policy. Through right of abode and diaspora-focused residency pathways, people of African descent can apply for long-term legal status that many other countries would never even consider offering. You don't have to pretend to be a tourist forever. Ghana actually wants you to stay. Now let's talk money, because nostalgia doesn't pay rent. Outside of Accra, $800 to $1,500 a month can cover housing, food, utilities, and transportation. That's not survival, that's living. Accra itself is more expensive, but smaller cities like Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi still offer real value. Ghana's economy is growing, and it shows, sometimes beautifully, sometimes chaotically. Healthcare is where Ghana separates the dreamers from the planners. Public healthcare exists, but most expats use private clinics in major cities for anything serious. Costs are much lower than in the US, but quality varies by location. One Ghanaian American expat put it bluntly, "You can live like a king here, but you still need a plan B for medical emergencies." Now let's address the real reason Ghana is on this list. Identity. Being black in Ghana feels different because you're not a minority. You're not being tolerated. You're part of the majority culture. Another black retiree said, "For the first time in my life, I'm not carrying the weight of being black. I'm just a person." That psychological shift alone is priceless. But Ghana isn't a fantasy novel. Bureaucracy moves slowly, power cuts happen, paperwork will test your patience and your blood pressure. And infrastructure outside major cities is, let's call it, a work in progress. So Ghana earns number 9 because it offers something rare, financial breathing room plus cultural belonging, but only if you arrive with eyes open and expectations realistic. And at number 8, the money starts stretching even further. Number 8, Uruguay. The quiet, boring, grown-up country that your retirement portfolio will actually respect. Uruguay doesn't shout, it doesn't dance for tourists, it doesn't sell fantasy. It does something far more powerful for black retirees with money on the line. It functions. While other countries pitch beach vibes and cheap cocktails, Uruguay quietly delivers political stability, rule of law, and healthcare that doesn't require prayer. This is one of the most stable democracies in South America, with low corruption and strong institutions. The Economist Intelligence Unit routinely ranks Uruguay among the most democratic countries in the region. In other words, your pension won't be hostage to political chaos. Former President Jose Mujica once said, "We are not poor because we have little. We are poor if we want much." That mindset shows up everywhere.
Perfect business for introverts has been hiding.
One thing I like about, Virtual O'Brien is that he also point out the countries if you're a black person not to go to, as well as the countries that you do go to. And some people, non-black, and say, well, what's the difference between what a black American or white American or any other American do? Is because there's some countries that people who are black, they might mistake them for African. And there's some countries that don't like Africans, and there's some countries that don't like black people in general. So one of the things about his video, he gives you the idea, because white people and other people can go to other countries and live and feel somewhat comfortable because the people that look like them, and they would kind of somewhat blend into the culture, so to speak. And I mean, there's white people that go down there in Africa too, but the ones that do, they go down there. This particularly is for black Americans, because even if you leave the States, I've heard stories about black Americans in different places that they've been in certain places in Europe and other places in Russia, and it wasn't what it cracked up to be. In some places in Asia, it wasn't cracked up to be. So that's why I play this channel, and it's something to think about if you're a black man or older black woman. This is geared to you, because it just encourages you. If you can make an income like anybody else, if you have a retirement income or something that can keep you flowing, because I think that's what I've heard some stories where some people couldn't stay over in Africa because they took their savings and they didn't have a plan. And that's what certain channels will encourage you to keep or to live a certain lifestyle over there, so that can keep the money flowing. If you have some kind of pension, real estate or business or something like that, you're good to go. But maybe some people might not think about it, but what else you have to do? Then you gotta look at your mental health reasons. Mental health for people. All Americans go through mental health, but when it comes to Black Americans, it's all this racism can mentally get to your health, and if it gets you mentally, it can weigh on you physically. So that's one of the reasons why, and that some people should, if you're able to go, leave the country, go ahead. And for some people say, why would I want to leave there and I can stay around here? Well, it's not normal to keep feel like you got to be. We in the almost there in the 22nd century, still feel like we got to be still enslaved and emboldened and switch code switching and everything just to feel free. And you've done that, and we all done that most of our lives. And yeah, we love to be loved and respected, but if you go on to jobs or you go on certain places, your microaggression of racism, and there's some of you that maybe are working a job and going through microaggression racism right now. I'm not saying that, you're going to have problems on the job and have problems in particular situations. But it don't hurt to go, because mentally, look what America have done right now. It seems like you have a president in office that's still trying to turn back the clock and bring back what Black people dealt in the 60s. And meanwhile, trying to convince us we're moving into people who think like him. People who think like him keep thinking that it's no big deal, it's no problem. And you see that as a problem. Because not only that he's targeting these different communities of people, but it's going to eventually come, and eventually we're getting caught up in between it. They're targeting. So why would any Black person would not want to leave America? What's it going to do? And God bless you if you even get land here and make a go of it. But then again, you could be like any other American and lose your land to intimate domain, because you know how that goes. They could put a plant somewhere like in other city and states around, and it can cause in poor neighborhoods and rural areas chemicals and stuff. And there's nothing you can do. If they sap your water, then they boost your electric, whatever. If you're out there in a rural area, if you buy land here, and whatever county and government you live in, they're going bring that. They can over domain that place. So that's one of the things to consider about some people is like investing, and maybe use the land and maybe rent out the land to have the land paying for yourself overseas. Because while stay on the land where they can confiscate your land, eminent domain, they can run a highway. This is what they've done in Black neighborhoods in America. And they continue. And on the previous video, I showed you how they gentrify things. So you fight gentrification, eminent domain. If you do get some land, and they decide to build a highway or plant, and you don't give it up, look what they did with that older Black woman, and some of the people that live out on the Carolina coast that is the Geechee culture. I don't know whatever happened to that, but they try and take all their land that they've been coming over to the eastern part of the United States. They call Geechee, and they are West African people that still speaks the native language. America don't, and they've been on that land, and they want to take the last bit of that land. Look down in Tennessee. There was a black town in Tennessee. They put a highway through it. They did it in Florida. So now you got to go against the government. So I'm like, what's the sense of purchasing? In a sense, if you purchase the land, make it use it as capital to pay your way overseas. Why live on a land where you constantly got to fight against the government? And then what about the black guy out there in Colorado with his wife? He had cattle and he had neighbors, and the police wouldn't do anything with him getting harassed on his land. This is happening in modern day America, and I can show you the videos. This video is out there. So what if you do get some kind of reward? If you do get some kind of ongoing reparation, take your money and split. So I'm like, I won't stay here because my ancestors here. What, it can continue to go through the same thing? I mean, it should, and for the black people to do, that's your choice. You want to keep fighting, bucking the system, fighting, but sometimes some people get tired of fighting and they want to go someplace else. But that's one of the reasons why I made this video. But it's something to think about. With Trump's in office, and he's doing all kind of things. That's why people send out the warnings. Hey, you better do it now. Do this now if you're going to do it. And if you're able to do it. And so get a system set up and go over and travel to the country like a lot of these people do and see and fill it out for yourself. I understand kids don't get job, have a plan, as they say. But I think that would be a good idea. And truthfully, if I had the money and a continuous income, I would go. No doubt. I would go. I'm 57 years old. I've seen, like most people my age in our lifetime, we've seen enough of this stuff. We've been through it like our parents and generations before. Sometimes you just get fed up with it. And it weighs on you mentally. It really does. So I encourage you, man, take a trip and do like some elder people do. Take a trip to Africa. Take the trip to the Caribbean. Depends on what Caribbean place you go to. Go to South America, man. Get up out of here, man. Get up out of here. I mean, why put up with this insanity? I'll keep going through this over and over and over. And if you can work a job a couple of years and withstand and keep your mind right and have your goal. Where you going? I'm getting the hell away from you. I'm out this country. Why are you leaving? Being ancient patriotic? Patriotic for what? Donald Trump showing us now what he think about the first black president being patriotic. Don't respect your patriotism.
What's up, fellas? It's your man, point guard, Stephen Bardo. Hope you guys doing well. I'm so happy to come to you today. I know that in my last live, my last video, I wasn't quite as animated as I normally am. So I'm going to get back to my normal way of doing things. Hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to talk about why it's important to really understand, like, how can I put this I'm just going to say it. The importance of understanding the true meaning of age. Okay? Here's why I say that. We have been led to think that 50s is middle age. And I'm going to get into the life expectancy of black men here in a minute, but we're taught to think that middle age is in the 50s. It's not, guys. It's not. Middle age, let me pull this up for you. because I don't think a lot of people really understand this. And I put this in another video I did a lot earlier, like back in the summer, but I don't think people really picked up on it. Guys, here's the life expectancy for black men. 69 years, the last census in 2022, is down from 72 years in 2011. COVID-19 had something to do with that, I'm sure. Just how the healthcare system is kind of getting run down a little bit, so I don't think the care is as good. So there's a lot of determining factors to that. But when we talk about this, guys, we think that middle age is in your 50s. If life expectancy for black men is 69, then middle age is 38, 34, 35. So start to rework your mind there a little bit. If this is your first time joining, my name is Stephen Bardo. I'm a championship leader. I'm a point guard. I'm a sovereign black man, and that's what we here at Next Chapter Forward strive to be, is a community of black men who are seeking sovereignty. Sovereignty can look a lot of different ways, but to me, sovereignty is having the ability to relocate to a place where you feel welcome and respected, to have your financial affairs in check, to be taking care of your health, to be loving and communicative with your family members, even if you leave the country. Okay, that's what sovereignty means to me. All right, I'm a former NBA point guard, played 10 years of professional basketball. The coffee breaks were in the NBA. I wasn't in the NBA long, Dallas, Detroit, and San Antonio, but I played in Italy, Spain, France, Germany, and Venezuela overseas. So, I made this transition, guys, because I know that I'm not the only black man over 50 that felt strong enough to bounce, to leave the country, okay? I know there's a lot of you out there, and these are some of the ways that I can connect with you, okay? Now, so guys, if we're 50 plus, and obviously there's going to be some of us that will live a lot longer than 69, creator willing, but that's the average. So let's work off averages. Let's work off numbers, because numbers are an emotion. Numbers are concrete, and we can measure that, right? So if you're in your 50s and you can work to 65, but then let's just say you live to 80 and you work to 65, that means you've worked at least 45 years in the United States as a black man. So after 65, let's say you live to 80, you got 15 years to live the rest of your life. Okay? Now, when you come across knowledge like this, I want you to think about something very strongly. Because I had the job that most men would want to have. I was a college basketball and NBA commentator on national television. I worked for 3 national networks. I've worked with all of them throughout my 25-year career on television. But the last iteration was NBC Sports, Fox Sports, and Big Ten Network. And I loved my job, guys. I was one of the best in the business at it. Loved it. But the weight of racism, the microaggressions, the aggressiveness, I started thinking, like, I can do this job until they fire me. They were trying to rehire me for another 2-year contract, all 3 networks. And I bounced. I left. I couldn't take it anymore, guys. And I have enough money. I'm not rich by any means by American standards. I'm not rich. But if I walked outside the United States and showed people what I have, they would consider me rich. Okay? Now, I've got enough. So my thinking is, do I really want to continue doing this while I have to worry about traveling and things like that? So you may have a job that you love. You may have the house, the car, the pension, the family's healthy. You may have everything. but you're still feeling a little off. You know deep down inside that there's something better. You've been on YouTube. You've seen other people that have had success leaving the country. You may even know some brothers that have left the country and you talk to, and they all of them tell you, well, not all of them, because 9 times out of 10, that one person they may pick the wrong country. They may not be properly prepared to live outside the United States. But 9 times out of 10, just like when I heard my dad, when he retired, and we were worried about him because he's a busybody, my family and me were worried about Dad when he was going to retire because he liked staying busy. After 2 years of retirement, I asked him, Dad, how you doing? He said, man, I was about to curse because he was like, man, I should have done this 5 years ago. All the men that I respected growing up, they all said the same thing when they retired. They should have done it a long time ago. Now, my father's still alive and very healthy, thank the Creator. But there are a lot of other people that I know that worked to 65, they got to 65, they retired, and within 5 or 7 years, they died. I don't know whether it wasn't that they didn't have a focus. I don't know what it was. Could have been health related. But I've seen that. That's not an unusual scenario, guys. So, what's that piece that's missing for you? Put in the comments what you think is missing. If you're one of these guys that got everything, but you know deep down inside there's something there, put it in the comments. Now, here's some of the things that we need to be concerned with. Healthcare concerns. There's a reason, fellas, why we're on the last on the totem pole in terms of health. A lot of them are systemic, but some of them we do to ourselves with our diets, our lack of exercise, not removing ourselves from stress and stressful people and situations. For loyalty reasons, you might be married and you and your spouse loved each other when you got married but can't stand each other now. You're staying in that situation for whatever reason, and it's causing you stress, it's causing your health concerns with your body. We've guys, okay, let me paint a picture for you. There's Leonard, and Leonard's 57 years old. He makes probably $200,000 to $250,000 a year. Highly successful as an agent, a sports agent. And so what happens with Leonard is that when he goes and looks at his clients playing these NBA games, they eat after the game because NBA lifestyle is different. Like it's heavily skewed towards the evening. So Leonard's eating late. He's eating steaks and a lot of meat. He's getting up early because he's got to get on the road to get to the next location, or he's got to get back in the office. He can't sleep in. So he's eating poorly late at night. He's not getting the rest that he needs. He's not exercising. And he's putting his body through stress with the constant travel. Okay? Now, Leonard may love what he's doing, but if he doesn't make any changes, that's not going to last long, guys. A lot of black men are walking time bombs, and you guys know it. There are several factors in my mind that make us the way that we are. Tuskegee experiment is one of them. That was a very painful thing that happened to black Americans, and we don't forget. And so there's a natural distrust towards the healthcare system in America. Guys, I'm here to tell you something. I haven't been to all countries outside the United States, but for Mexico, Colombia, Ghana, Portugal, Spain, Italy. These are all the countries that I've been to. Japan, and worked in, lived and worked in, and been to. These places are better suited. They listen to us. They respect us more. Okay? So if you've got health issues but you want to relocate, don't concern yourself thinking that you're not going to get the care that you need if you leave the United States. Because there are a lot of countries that do a fantastic job with health care, right? And I'm going to go get some of those experiences for you and bring them back to you, brothers, so that you understand that this is possible. Let me tell you something else about my personal story that was really, really tough, guys. Okay? I love my job. I played in the Big Ten. I played at the University of Illinois and damn proud of it, right? Met my wife, my ex-wife, but met my wife there. Graduated from there. Created great contacts. My oldest son went to school there, right? I got a lot from playing at the University of Illinois and playing in the Big Ten Conference. Now, fast forward to what I was doing up until last year, about this time. When you travel to Big Ten places outside of Minneapolis and Los Angeles, where UCLA and USC are, and Seattle, where University of Washington is, Rutgers, because that's Piscataway is in that New York, New Jersey area. Those four areas are major metropolitan areas. But the rest of the Big Ten schools are not in large areas, guys. These are upper Midwest places that, quite frankly, can be scary for black people. I'm talking Iowa City, Iowa, Champaign, Illinois, Bloomington, Indiana, East Lansing, Michigan, Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a larger area. It's not quite as small as some of these other ones, but guys, these places have consistent racial incidents, right? Columbus, Ohio is a big city. Let me put that in there. But I saw one of the worst aggressive actions by police of any place I've ever seen. I'm in Columbus, Ohio last year. I go to this same strip mall area that is not far from the hotel that we normally stay in when we do Ohio State basketball games. So I go to this strip mall, and as I pull in, there's a black couple that's in the car that's parked. They got a police cruiser behind them, and the police officers have the doors open, and they're inside. They're standing, but the door's open, so they're on the car jam with their guns pointed at this car. So I'm like, dang, what did I just roll up on? So I go and park, and I see it's a black couple in the car. So I pull out my phone and record. Guys, in about 45 seconds to a minute, there were about 30 police cars and cruisers that rolled up on that parking lot. 30. I'm not joking. I've got the video. I can play it for you. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because these dudes were laughing at me, man. Because I was hot. I was like, bro, look. They go and tell the driver, get out, put your hands up, drop to your knees. They walk up to him, frisk him, nothing. They pull him back in the cruiser. Passenger, get out of the car. She gets out of the car. She's shaking. Hands on your head, right? She does exactly what they say. Get on your knees. She got on her knees. They rifle through her belongings. Nothing. They put her in the cruiser. They go in their car. They found nothing. And these police officers are laughing. Here's what I think happened. It was a young police officer that was on the driver's side of the original police, right? I'm trying to pull this up, guys, because I want to show it to you as close to the camera as I possibly can. And so the police officers are walking away laughing. What I think happened was a young officer, he got overzealous, right? And his overzealousness damn near cost a black couple their lives. And when I saw the police officers laughing, and they saw I was recording, they're looking at me like, yeah, what? You can record, so what? You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Man, I think I might have erased it, guys.
And that's one of the reasons why there's one of the things in America you got to think about that too. But one thing he addresses was about the health. That's really important too. And health is in some cases in areas that they don't really value African American health among that, because there's not too many doctors that really do. They be improvising, but many men are scared because of past times, and so that can go either way. Yeah, I think very city mentioned I'm living in Columbus right now. Damn, I didn't. Wow, but yeah, there's been a lot of incidents like that here in Columbus. There's been a few incidents like that here in Columbus, Ohio. It's like any other city. It's just got its issues, and Ohio, state of Ohio, period. I mean, go to that. There's been some major incidents in Ohio, but when you hear and see things like that on the news or social media, why would you not want to go to another part of the world? Why not? I mean, as a black man, black woman, if black women listen to this, why not? Hey, because there's black women over there doing the same thing like black men, and they're catching it like black men too. And for the other people that just can't imagine, yeah, this is the reality. Because subconsciously, we've been conditioned in this country to think like that. The media has influenced to think that when we see black people, we see criminality. And then the police. Then people take advantage of it and call the police, hoping for unaliving black people. There's some people like that. Then that's stressing in itself, being black. And like he was saying, on the job, certain cities and certain towns, why not? What do you got to lose? With your health, and your mental health, and your physical health. But if you got the funds to go and stay for a minute, I would go. Because look, we in the present. They telling you things that's in the past, but the things you see in the past are in the present. You seeing the same thing your grandparents, just about as worse as your grandparents are seeing it. We in it 2026, not 1946, not 1956, not even 1966. We in 2026, still seeing this stuff. Why not black man? Why not black woman? Look what we got. You got to deal with this president for the next couple of years. So you get opportunities in his policies, and then people feel emboldened to discriminate. They feel emboldened to bring back, and they don't have to hire you if you're out there. And you never know. They don't have to hire you. They don't want. It's just like it's as Simon Says, and the people who are being discriminated say, Simon says I can do what I do. To some, what I say so. Because they feel like they've been emboldened. That's what they've been taught all their life. To be emboldened that that's the way you are, and everybody subjugated it. Why put up with that? Why put that on the job? That costs you your mental health and your physical health. So you get an opportunity, and especially in your 40s, this isn't a 50, but even in your 40s to 30s, bruh, says get out of this, go. And if your 20s you can do it, go. What you got to lose? They ain't hiring. They purposely, look, when it came to black women, they purposely let them go. But I say those black women, they can get a pension and take their creativity, go international. If they can get out the United States, if they got enough saved. The ones that do it, salute to you, like the black men. salute to you. Because you see what he purposely did. And now he made it so often that if companies in the private sector hire blacks because of some myth about DEI, then they can get sued because white people being sued. That's another thing where you will want to leave. Now it's like they reverse and using witchcraft, reverse psychology. Black people don't have the power, even if they own businesses, wouldn't even do that. But they can do it. Why? Because Simon says they can do so. The entitlement said they can do so. That's another reason why not? So for those who do, in the next couple of years who decide to leave the United States, to the black men and women, salute. And to the other people too. This country ain't trying to come together. Sliding downhill. And racism is going to destroy it's going to destroy this country. They think that they're trying to bring it back the way it was, with them on top, subjugating and putting everybody at certain levels, and they can ride on top. It ain't happening. You're gonna fall if you don't have. It's like life is like this. If you use the foundation, you want the roof to cover the whole house. But if you abuse the foundation, how the roof's gonna stand? How the walls is gonna stand? But when Simon says people like Donald Trump and different individuals are white, and I say so, they can't figure that out till the last minute. And people who think like them can't figure it out till the last minute. And it's gonna fall, hit them right in the face. More of us get up out of here and take our gifts and talent overseas, and be a benefit to some other people. Benefits what? Get reward for ourselves. They want to kind of erase that. It won't be erased in other places. So let them do, and it's gonna reflect back on them. And them other countries gonna look. Why did you do these people like this? You said that they were like this. You make them sound like they criminality. They have no intelligence. But yet, why the best of them is producing and bringing the best of their idea over here and enriching our economy. And there's some black people can take their gifts and talent over there. Let the ones and the ones that say, "Oh, white and I say so," they'll figure it out. Keep your talent, keep your gift to yourself. Take your talent, gift overseas. Let the ones Simon says, "I'm white and I say so." Let them people who think like that, let them go on about their business. They're gonna find out. The world gonna see how stupid they are. Take care, be blessed. See you on the next video.